No, I'm in a proper hotel, Crown Plaza. I'm actually in Cambridge with my wife, Jane.
Oh, I hope you're speaking slowly for them. How's Cambridge doing?
No, we love Cambridge.
It's all right, is it?
It's one of the most beautiful cities in Britain, as you know.
It's got a glorious little canal, hasn't it, through it? I remember that.
But, people are lovely. But we actually come here and stay here for about 10 days, and I go out and do a show here and there. Jane comes with me. But we love staying in Cambridge for some reason.
How does your wife feel when she looks on the stage and there you are doing what you do best, which is being a rock star and being good at what you do?
Not a rock star, I'm just a good musician, a good singer, and a good all-round guy, like you said.
Well, you are, and you're known for that. Because
I'm from Accrington. What else am I going to
do? You can't get your head too far at your backside in music, can you? Or you become a bit boring. And I think some of the old rockers tend to bring out these albums that unfortunately nobody wants to listen to. You've got to be careful about that, haven't you, John?
Well, I write music for the sake of enjoying myself. I write good music. I enjoy the adventure of music, and I've written about half a dozen solo albums. I've worked with Vangelis, Guitaro, different people. I'm actually working with a lot of young teens by the internet, as I find that the worldwide studio is the internet now. So musicians send me music and I sing and send it back, and I don't know who they are, but if it's good, I'm going to sing for them,
Let me ask you an honest question with you, and with Rick as well. What's more important, you being an amazing musician or a brilliant showman? Because you're both, aren't you?
It's a combination with Rick. It's like, I feel like we're doing a comedy act for 1 minute and then we're singing beautiful songs the next minute. And we actually wrote some songs for this tour. As you say, about doing a new album, you don't just do a new album for the sake of it. You do it because you've got some interesting music. And we did an album, it's just been released this week, actually. It's called The Living Tree. And we do about 6 of the songs on stage, like a recital.
Yep.
Plus some classic Yes songs that we worked together on, and some classic Yes songs that I wrote. And I play them with Rick as really, as they were first written. So they're actually very interesting. And the audience actually love them, and they sing along, because a lot of the audience have followed the Yes and our careers over the last 30, 40 years. So you get a lot of nice people who just enjoy coming along for a great show.
I was thinking of bringing along the current Mrs. Belfield, and what a lucky woman she is, by the way. Is it going to be a load of middle-aged men who are kind of got long beards, long hair, and ride a motorbike? What type of punters come to your shows?
It's about half and half. You get a lot of young people, in their early 20s, even teens come, because their dad and, mum brainwashed them with Yes music when they were kids.
Yes.
So they want to come and see who did that.
Who's responsible? Who's to blame?
For my brain. And they come along and you can see them in the audience really loving the fact that we enjoy doing what we do. And, we don't go out there and do TV and all that kind of stuff to promote it. We just know the people that come want to come. The people that are interested, they'll come and enjoy a great evening. And there's a lot of fun and a lot of jokes. Rick, he never stops.
Yeah, he knows how to work a crowd, and that's so important, isn't it? Because it can just be a bit too much if you're there for 2 hours of music solid. You need a character to buy into as well.
Well, we actually come over a little bit like, I don't know, Tom and Jerry, if you want to.
Yes.
It's like, I can't stop laughing every time he says anything. He just says the most silly things, and it takes me a while to get back to singing. So we just have a good rapport.
Let me talk to you about your style, because it's so iconic and it was so new and fresh. Did you know you were creating something new when you put the band together and when you started singing? Is that God-given, or can you actually be more business-minded about it and set it all up?
No. You do what you can. You create music in the hope that people are going to enjoy the stage show. I think we were more of a stage show band when we first started. And that was our survival rather than trying to be pop stars, because I felt I was a bit old then. I was about 25, and I thought I was too old to be a pop star. So let's get together with musicians that are going to create some interesting music.
Yeah.
And that's basically how Yes survived over the years, is because the music worked, and it's pretty timeless songs and ideas. And I wasn't singing about sex, drugs, and rock and roll. I was singing more about life and the search for understanding of why we live and the terrible things that are happening around the world. And, when you sing about "Don't Kill the Whale" in the 70s, people say, "Why did you sing about that?" And you're just saying, "I was just thinking about the most beautiful world that we live in. We shouldn't be chopping the trees down. We shouldn't be getting rid of the animals that we're doing. We should try and work and co-create with the earth." And over the years, it's become a sort of norm thing, that we are the caretakers of the earth, and we should learn to appreciate it a bit more,
Well, that's why my favourite song, "Owner of a Lonely Heart," is one of my favourites, because your songs do mean something, all of them, don't they?
Oh, yeah. And that song's really about really standing by your consciousness and making sure that you don't be afraid of life,
Yeah. And in terms of you being a rock star in the 70s, you were up there with the biggest and the best. Did you lose yourself for a moment, or were you one of those that was able to keep your feet on the ground?
Well, we were very, very big in the early 80s. 90125 was a mega hit record. And I remember going to see a movie exactly the week we started that tour in New York. There's a movie came out called Spinal Tap.
Yes.
And it just changed my whole perception of rock and roll, because it's a comedy. Life is a comedy, especially in rock and roll. So I didn't take it seriously at all.
How does it feel when you walk out on stage in front of 50, 80,000 people and it's all about you for that 3 minutes or even maybe 3 hours?
Well, what it is a celebration, and you go on stage and you know that you've got to sing good, and it's panic time. You got to go on stage feeling you got to put on a good show.
Yeah.
You got to give them as much as you can. So it's really a gift to and fro. But the fact that there's so many people out there, you can't really take it in. You just go on stage and hope that you do a good show.
Do you ever worry when you stood in the wings that you might not sound like you tonight, because there's no faking it, is there? That you can't have somebody fill in.
You get flu. You get colds on tour. Over the years, I've got better at handling it. But in the 70s, I used to get flus and colds all the bloody time. I used to live on what is called Tylenol cold. I used to take one every day because my nose was stuffed up and all that kind of stuff. Because you're only there to put on a good show. That's why you're there. And there were 1 or 2 nights you just wish you hadn't had to go on stage, but you do it.
Yeah.
It's like the show must go on, mate.
Is it nice to be back on stage with your old mate and doing these songs again?
It's brilliant. It really is like fresh air for me. I got pretty sick a couple of years ago, and my wife saved my life twice. In 2008. So I didn't work on tour or do any shows for a year, and I did a few shows last year, not too many. This year I started doing more shows, and then Rick called me up and said, let's do the tour. And I said, I'd love to. And it's sort of a challenge like everything else. You just got to get up there and sing your best, and do the best show you can ever do.
Can't go wrong, really, because you both love it and the audience love you. And regardless of the material, obviously, we're going to hear your biggest hits, but just fabulous. And what a thrill to see you back on stage together. What a real honour getting you on the programme. And thank you so much for talking to me, John Anderson.
Thanks, Alex.